Hi, my name is Oznerf Forever, and hello YouTube and Oznerf. Today I'll be interviewing uin13, or known as Ice, and say good day. First question, what is with your drought of videos?
Alright, actually, before we even go into this, I'd like to discuss what happened yesterday. We actually did this already, but the file got just distorted and really messed up, and we wasted pretty much an hour yesterday working on it. So now we've got it being recorded on two different audio sets, just to make sure everything works smoothly. So if my answers seem a little unenthusiastic, that's why. Sorry about that. But I felt like I had to get that out of the way. So, I completely forget what the question is.
What is the drought of videos?
Oh, yes. So, I haven't been making nearly the magnitude of videos that I normally have, due to just school-related activities and, like, relationships and stuff. I've been hanging out with my friends a lot more after school, and then, like, the week where my parents were gone, I was going to make a video every day of something that I would be inevitably working on, but, like, sorry, drinking soda, but, like, every single day, I would be, coming home from school, and then somebody would call me and be like, "Hi, we're doing this tonight," and I'd be like, "Oh, okay," and I'd get back home at, like, 10, and at that point, I don't feel like actually making a video. So that covers that week. The week after that, well, the 2 or 3 weeks after that, I don't know. I actually recorded 2 videos, and I exported them, but I never got around to uploading them, because I exported it and then kind of forgot about it, because I was probably watching TV at the same time. I don't know. But, I haven't been doing a whole ton Nerf-related lately anyway, so it's like, I don't have a lot to make videos on. And my check was still $342 this month, so it's not like, yeah.
What is your current primary?
My current and probably primary for the rest of a very long time is my quad shot, which was painted by Mers. It was in our hand cannon switch, and I liked it so much that I took the turret off my original quad shot, which Bad Wrench helped me with, put it on the new shell, carved rear loading holes, did a couple personal mods, and threw a badass stock on it, and that's my primary. It's like, I don't need anything else. It's rear loading, it shoots 90 feet, 4 shots, it's fantastic.
This one we've also discussed too many times. What was your first Nerf gun?
Alright, so my first Nerf gun was a Maverick. Granted, this was my first Nerf gun after, I don't remember much about my childhood Nerfing. I know I did Nerf as a child, but I don't remember anything about what I had. But when I was 12, I went to Kmart, and I don't remember what I was there for, but I ended up coming home with a Maverick. I was about to say a stock Maverick, but it's like, you can't buy modded Mavericks at Kmart. And I remember thinking it was cool, and I lost all the darts in like a couple days, and decided to open it up and spray paint it, because I'd seen a couple people on YouTube that had done that, and like did the full Russian roulette modded stuff, and I thought it was really cool. So I ended up opening it, and I'm pretty sure I broke it. But that didn't discourage me from continuing modding.
What was the very first Nerf war you went to?
So the first Nerf war I went to was Apocalypse 08, which was gigantic. It was like 70 people. And I remember, like the night before, I was incredibly hyper. And I packed up my entire inventory into one giant army sack, which was a duffel bag about the size that I was, because I was only 14. And I remember when I was walking around the field and I was looking for the staging area, this thing like digging into my shoulder because it had like 30 blasters in it, and it weighed a ton. And at the time, it was like, ow, I don't like this. Like, now, it wouldn't be much of a problem, and now I know not to carry the whole inventory, but it's like, yeah, that was a fantastic war, though. It was an amazing starter, and it was really cool. It made me want to, and then move on to hosting a couple wars on my own.
What is Nerfhaven's opinion of you in general?
The majority of the members really don't like me for their own personal reasons, and also because I'm a 16-year-old that's popular on YouTube for Nerf. And, you know what? Whatever. Doesn't really bother me anymore.
What do you enjoy most about the hobby?
So what I enjoy most about the hobby is, the actual mechanics part of it. Not as much warring. I used to, prefer warring over mechanics, but now it's like, I'm a super technical person. I like knowing how things work. I like modifying things, and that's not just in reference to Nerf guns, it's in reference to just about everything. It's like, if I can take it apart, then chances are I have taken it apart. So I love the whole process of modding without using Nerfhaven or the internet or any other source, because it's like figuring stuff out on my own and then being able to swap things out, replace the barrel, new spring, get around inverse plungers. It's really nice knowing that I can figure this kind of stuff out on my own. It's a very satisfying feeling when you put hours and hours into a project and come out with something that works like magnificently. There's nothing quite like it for me. Well, in this particular field.
Did you get into Nerf by yourself, or were you encouraged by a friend?
This kind of goes back to my Maverick story. I got into it by myself, and then I urged a couple of my friends to join, and yeah.
What do you think of Nerf's new designs?
Nerf's new designs, I think, are too realistic. The long strike, for example, looks incredibly sleek, and it is, but it's very uncomfortable, and it's way too realistic. It looks, sure, it's too big, but it looks like a sniper, and especially when you get a 12-year-old that decides to paint it black and run around in the street with it. But I don't know. I really am not a fan of the whole inverse plunger thing. It has its ups, I'll admit that, but mostly it's just down and down and down. The only ups include safety and not worried about power because you're not going to generate anything anyway. They're good for indoors. And you know, the deploy is pretty cool. I like the whole idea that my gun can turn into a suitcase, or as some people call it, a handbag. And yeah, I just think that's kind of cool. The newer stuff, like the brake barrel, which is probably not actually the name of it, but it's the shotgun that has two barrels. That's the size of the Maverick. I think that looks really cool. It's probably not going to be powerful at all, but I am definitely going to buy one because it's pistol sized and it's a split fire. It has two shots. Yes, it's spring powered, but. And then you've got stuff like the Alpha Trooper, which is coming out, which has the 18-shot drum mag. I'll pick up one of those just for the drum mag. I'm not a big fan of the new shell. And then you've got the, it begins with an R, Rev 5. It's a Maverick with 5 barrels. It's stupid. I'm definitely not getting one of those. So yeah.
Do you have a Nerf hero?
My Nerf hero used to be, and sort of still is, Forsaken Angel, but I don't know, I've kind of been out of the whole Nerf thing for a while. I don't really consider him a hero, but he's definitely a very, very good modder.
Do people notice you in the street, or at least some?
Sort of. There are, and I told a couple stories about this yesterday, but I don't really feel like reciting them because they were in the moment stories, and I'm not in the moment right now, but I have had a couple people like look at me and give me very like wide-eyed looks, like, I know who you are, and it's like, that's not creepy or anything. But yeah, nobody's come up to me and formally like introduced themselves. Well, once, but only once. So yeah, it's not bad.
Have you ever been asked for your autograph?
No, luckily. Because I would definitely sign it with, like, a false name. I would have a lot of fun with that.
Are you the type of person that says, you wish you were me because I'm awesome?
No. And this goes into a very lengthy discussion that we had on last night's failed recording of this. I'm not the kind of person that, like, brags about having the attention on YouTube that I do, because honestly, there's no reason for me to actually have the amount of views and subscribers that I do. Way back when, like, I'm gonna say about a year ago, I was one of the top modders on Nerf Haven, in personal opinion. But, and of course there are gonna be people that argue that, and I just don't care anymore, but within, like, the past year, there have been so many new members, so many new mods. It's like everything has just jumped the gun and is so many levels higher now. It's like, yeah, I could keep up if that was all I was doing. But now, with the transfer of schools and just so many other aspects of my life really taking off, it's like, I don't have time to keep up anymore. So really, I'm just on par with the average modder now, and it's like, why am I the one with 14,000 subscribers? This makes no sense at all.
What is your favorite gun to mod?
My favorite to mod is probably the long shot, because I've done like 30 or 40 of them, and I never seem to get bored of them.
Preferred barrel material?
Normally I go with CPVC just for ease of using, but brass, honestly, is pretty much the better choice, because it's you can do so much more with brass. Like, you can make stuff like the Angel Breach, and just sealing normal breaches that hop onto couplers. Brass is a lot better for actually fitting random darts, because you can put tightening rings at the end. Brass is nice. The only thing I don't like about brass is it dents. That's not fun. And there's no brass couplers.
You can get an elbow bit and cut it down.
You can, but it's a pain.
Yeah. Opinions on the reverse plungers?
As I said earlier, reverse plungers have their ups and downs, mostly downs. But, the nice part about them is they do promote indoor wars, and those are always fun. I remember before... Okay, so Apocalypse was my first Nerf Haven war, but before that, I remember I'd be over at a couple's friends' houses who, I'm not going to mention names because it's like, yeah, I just don't feel that's right. But I remember we'd go over and I'd bring over some stock Nerf guns. This was before I was even really... well, I was into modding, but not heavily into it. And I would bring over some stock guns and all the darts I could find, and we would continue to shoot each other from around couches and, like, through rooms throughout the night until we lost all the darts, and they all got, like, hid under the couch and the radiators and stuff. So it's like... those were with, like, stock long shots, Mavericks, Recons. I like indoor wars, and I like the idea of the promotion of indoor wars, but I don't like the idea that everything has a reverse plunger now. It's like we have nothing to look forward to.
What are your thoughts on Buzzbee Big Blast?
Okay, so this was, I like Big Blasts. My first Big Blast, well, I don't think it was my first, but one of my first Big Blasts, I remember reading that somebody plugged the pump on it and got, like, 200 to 300 feet, and that was like, I had never fired something that shot that far as foam ballistics go, and the idea that I could do that with a Nerf gun was like extremely exciting to me. So I went and I plugged my pump, of course, and this was before I did any real reinforcement to anything. So yeah, of course it had the trigger broke at about 30 shots, but it was pulling off with like 30 pumps. It was pulling off like 250 feet flat. It was fantastic, and it was like, I remember I shot through like 2 or 3 layers of cardboard, and then a 30 feet more to hit the end of my room. Yeah, it was cool. It was way too powerful.
What is your opinion about the new Spectra, Barrel Break, Alpha Trooper, and the Clear series?
Again, I did kind of talk about this earlier in the interview, but I haven't talked about the Clear series. I do really like the idea of the Clear series. Not so much because... Alright, so I know a lot of airsoft companies do this, and that's for safety. Nerf does it for style. Because it's like, yeah, if an airsoft gun is black, it looks real. But when a Nerf gun is black, depending on the gun, yes, it can look real. And it's never a good idea to paint them black. I sincerely suggest against it. But it's like, when a Nerf gun is clear, it's for style. Because, like, you never see a neon airsoft gun or paintball gun. And sorry to bring up those, but it's like, I need a comparison for it. I like the fact that they're clear because you can see all the mods from the outside.
What does U stand for?
Alright, so originally there was a TV show called Shaolin Showdown. And that's kind of awkward because I take Shaolin Kung Fu now. Completely unrelated, but in Shaolin Showdown there was something that sparked. It was like, I would, being the 12-year-old that I was when I was watching the show, I would just like think up my own characters and scenarios about it. It was my favorite TV show. And I came up with Yoon as like the name for my character. So naturally, being the 12-year-old that I was, I made my YouTube channel after that. And it was like, yes, it was stupid, but I'm stuck with it now. But I've come up with a new meaning for it, which every once in a while I Google myself, just for fun. And normally when I Google my actual name, nothing comes up that's actually related to me. But when I Google uin13, obviously a ton of stuff pops up. And one of it was a Wikipedia link, which defined UIN as United Identification Number. And I liked that, because 13 is my favorite number, and, like, that's my identification number. That appealed to me. I like the idea of that.
What gun have you most used as your promo?
Cycling through multiple versions of long shots, mostly singled long shots, and my decimator that I used for quite a while. But besides those, various crossbows that I've owned, and now the quad shot.
What is the furthest you've traveled to get to a Nerf wall?
That's a good one.
Actually, I just made that up on the spot.
Yeah, nice. Let's see, I think like 3.5 hours, which was going to DCNO. Oh no, that was the one trip. I remember that. That was 4.5 hours because we were literally like 10 minutes away from it, and we hit the worst traffic like ever on the expressway. We literally did not move for half an hour, got out of the car, and just walked around like pacing the road because nobody was freaking moving. Ew, that was so bad.
What is the best stock Nerf gun?
I'd say either the long shot or the Maverick. Long shots, it's like anything that uses a clip. makes a non-nerfer or a stock nerfer just feel like badass, because it's like there's just something about loading a clip and popping it into a plastic toy blaster that's like satisfying.
What is the best modded Nerf gun?
Doomsayer.
Like out of everyone.
Yeah, the Doomsayer. Personal opinion, but I don't think a lot of people would argue with it.
Yeah. The biggest stock Nerf gun fail from Hasbro.
Biggest fail?
Yeah, like Hasbro's releases.
Yeah, you know, the first thing that came to mind was Vulcan, but I don't think that's right. I don't know. I like most of Hasbro's work. The only thing that's really frustrated me is the Atom Blasters. Oh, and the Hornet. I don't like the Hornet at all.
Biggest Nerf gun success.
Titan. Well, maybe Longshot, but I don't know. Titan. My personal success was the clip Titan that I created, and then immediately painted bright fluorescent orange because it's like that big and is powered by an air compressor and shoots close to like 200 feet. It's like, I have to paint this orange. This is a warning. And that would be for personal modification, but for Hasbro's actual production, I would say the Longshot, because it's one of my favorites.
What do you think about the whole tactical thing?
Alright, so tactical, it's cool, it's flashy, it has its ups and downs. Mostly downs, once again. I'd much rather trade in the whole tactical look for what Nerf kind of used to have. Like, with the crossbow, everything was sleek. Now Nerf has moved into more of a boxy view, which is nice on most of their stuff, but it's like, the sleek look is nice every once in a while. I never use like the scope and stuff, but it's cool to show off to non-nerfers. Like when my uncles come over, and they come and they pick up my Longshot, and then I immediately insert a drum mag, a scope, and the I can't remember what it's called, but the thing that produces a red light. They're like, oh, well, that's cool. And it is cool for somebody that doesn't nerf. But if you're a nerfer, you know none of that stuff helps.
Your opinion on the pump action shotgun?
Overrated. I'm glad they're out of production now because they were too much work for not enough benefit.
Favorite Nerf gun? Oh, we've already seen that. Favorite Nerf modder out of everyone in the whole world?
I sort of said this already too. Forsaken Angel 24, obviously.
Favorite gun made by you?
Ooh, that's a fun one. I think again I would go with the Titan that I finished like 8 or so months ago now, which is actually maybe less than that. My bright orange clipped air compressor Titan.
What are you currently working on?
Nothing. Well, I do technically have a single Longshot that I've, like, when I'm bored and home alone and actually feel like working on something, I'll pull out the Longshot, I'll do a couple tweaks. It's a very slow project. It's a basic single Longshot. It was the one that had the recon on the front, but the recon proceeded to decide to pretty much self-explode, and I didn't feel like arguing with it, so it went in the bits box. And I replaced it with a nice PVC handle because the where I made the cuts in the original shell made it so insecure once the recon left the shell that there was almost nothing holding the top and front together. So I had to put the PVC there. I wasn't going to put in another integration because I thought the thing would just fall apart. So I've been going in and out on tweaking that for a few weeks.
Will your YouTube subscribers expect more decent videos in the future?
No. It's like, I know my videos are crap. I don't have much of an incentive to improve them. But that's one of the things. You can either have a video like every couple days, or you could have like a video every 2 weeks. If it's every couple days, they're not going to be edited. That's sort of what I've been doing lately. If you want one every 2 weeks, I'll make it nice, it'll be pretty, people will like it. It's up to the viewers. Post comments on which you would prefer in the comment box, or message me.
And that brings us to the end of the thing. If you want to check out my channel, it'll be somewhere in the video.
It'll be in the description.
Yeah, down there. Post comments if you want, I guess, about the thing.
Yeah,
and
stay on topic, please. I know that never happens, but it's a disclaimer.
Yeah, just till uin13's next video. See you later.
Yep, see ya. Alright, it'd be cool if I could figure out how to stop recording. Hold on.